That just that's the
right. I click live. We are live, legends. What is crack-a-lacking? All the people out there who's watching, you know what time it is. It's the Bitcoin Prediction Monday show. This is why I love Mondays. How you doing, Chris? How you doing, Smallio? All good?
Yeah, we good. How you doing?
I'm living. Let's get on to this anyway. I won't even let you speak.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's get straight. Just keep marching off into it.
Straight in, bye.
In the building. Apparently, there's already 1,000 likes, but we'll see. Okay, guys. Let's get straight into the charts. Okay, so we're not gonna beat around the bush on this. We're gonna get straight to the long-term, medium-term, short-term. Start with the short-term analysis right now. Like I said 1 billion times, like we've been saying, this is the next time to. This is the level to buy, guys. So in our previous video, if we pop out of here, it was actually an 8-hour stream I did. So I don't, if you didn't see it, then fine, because you could have come at any point within the 8 hours. But yeah, so we popped out, guys. We had a deviation of the high. I said that is likely now. What we're going to do is go back to this level of support. It's exactly what we've got. I actually have my resting buy orders all already set. They're already filled. I actually bought lots of crypto on Revolut as well. So that's a little bit of a, it's fucking, their new app is lit. You can buy crypto for 1% if you have a metal card. So I've had a bit of fun. This is the buy level, guys, here on the short-term, micro-short-term time frames. Obviously, if you go down on this on the lower, you can get some nice little entries. But this is support, guys, and I do think consistently higher lows coming into this. We know what is going to happen. We've been saying it from the beginning of time. Even down here on this channel, all of these crypto influencers saying, yeah, it's time to short. We've broken out of long-term resistance, so now let's short the market. Look at this chart here, guys. It's like, yes, okay, we've just broken out of a long-term fucking downtrend. Now it's time to short. Okay, short now, legends. Short it now. Like, you've had fucking 2 years to short, and you decide to short now at the beginning of the next bull market. Anyway, this is too moon boiny. Moon boiny? Boing. Listen, it's getting too moon boy. It's not going to happen like that just yet. We're not going, that's going to be probably end of, maybe, let's go middle of next year to the end of next year. We're going to get that crazy move. How you doing, babe? All good? You want to join the video? No? Okay, here we go. All right, so, yeah, that we're going to get this, guys, probably like end of next year. Probably around end of 24. We're going to get something like this. Doesn't mean it has to be exactly these type of dimensions. It's just going to be a rocket ship to the moon, but it's not happening just yet. So let's come back to Earth. Let's get off the moon. Let's not go too moon boiny. Moon boingy. Why do I keep saying moon boing? God, Mondays. Moon boy. So yeah, guys, I do think there will be some more shorts to come. It's long until proven otherwise. I do think that the probability is we do break this level of resistance. We've tagged it now. Well, that's the first time we got there, so we tagged it into the order block. But we've had the actual retest of it around 4 times. I do think if we just consistently keep hitting it, eventually it will break. That's just physics. And I do think we're going to go to 42,000 and maybe 48K if we do get lots and lots of shorts piling in. And I do think, leggies, if we go on to, I haven't got my chart up actually right now, but let me get up mdxalgo.com. Let's just see what we got here. Quickly whip it up for you, legends. Whoa, what's going on there? Can you guys see my screen correctly, or did that just change something? Everything good? Yeah, can you see everything, legends? You're good? Yeah, so, yeah, I thought maybe the tab would change it. So, guys, you can see here that long to short ratio at 50-50 on the higher time frames. On the 5-minute, we're probably going to be more short. Let's just have a look, though. Oh, wow, the longs are beginning to come in on the lower time frames. Okay, that's really interesting. That's just people coming in at this price point here, trying to get in some longs. That will probably cause a little bit of volatility. So it's probably unlikely we're going to get one jet off it. It might just like fanny around here for a bit, like kind of come into it one more time, dick around and just scare everybody. It's not even that shallow. It could come a little bit deeper. Wouldn't surprise me even to come and try and take this low here. It could, if it does that, then yeah, it will break trend, but it could just be a deviation through. But anyway, I've got my buy set. I'm bought here. I'm in the market. I do think if we keep hitting this top side resistance, we're going to break through it eventually. Like I said before, we've been calling for it to rise in price since here when everyone else was shorting it. As soon as we broke long-term resistance with no logical fucking entry in it, like everyone like, oh, let's just short because it went up. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, we've been through that 1 billion times. So that's kind of the short-term analysis, guys. As long as proven otherwise, we're at support. If we do get a wick through it, I will look to buy it for maybe a fake out. And then the only short I'll be looking to take was if, look, the only short you can really take now is not really about the trend line, because a lot of people are going to say, oh, retest of trend. I don't really agree with that. This is just generally saying the market's rising. I'd say what you're really looking for is 35,600. Let me just find the chart for you. Sorry, let me get it right. Yeah, 35,300. And there is also this level here as well. Yeah, 36,666. That's a dodgy number. But these are the two levels you look to short. So if it does break through it, if it retests that could be a nice short. If we come back down again and then we retest that would be a nice short as well. But I wouldn't look to try and short any of these highs. I'll just literally stay in the market and be long until proven otherwise. I spoke about that on my stream. And then 42K is coming next. If loads of shorts come in, I think we go to 48K for the break to the upside. On the medium term, though, just to clarify to you, I don't think that this is going to happen all in one go just yet. I think this will eventually happen, this chart, at some point. And it is interesting because it looks like at the time like it's jetting off to the moon. But now that jet off to the moon in 2020 is now just that jet on this next one. So it probably will do an order of magnitude higher. Bitcoin will probably do something crazy in its next bull market. And I do think on the medium to long term, okay, let's just start with medium term. I'll tell you what I think long term. So daily, just want to quickly reiterate the point from before. And we're going to go to some indicators which back this up. But I'll let Chris and Will bring those up because they're the indicator legends. So on the daily, I do think it's probably a break. You maybe get one retest of it. And I do think on the medium term, we're going to maybe come up to, if I can get a fucking straight line, 42,000. This is the first area of resistance I'll be interested in looking at shorts. And I do think that when we get hit this area, it's either 42 or 48. We have to look at long to short ratio when we get there. But let's just say, for argument's sake, between 42 and 48. And then you'll look for a break of a change of behavior or a break of structure. I do think we're going to get a move back down and probably take out all of this upside continuation pressure, all of this like support will probably get wiped out because everyone's had such an easy ride getting in longs. I do think it will probably wipe out all of this in maybe 2 days. 1 month up, it will come and wipe all this out in probably like 2 or 3 days, and then base off, find support somewhere, and then probably continue up higher on the medium term. So I'm not saying this has to happen now. I'm just saying I think it's a jet to 42 or 48, and then a big nuke. It's difficult to know exactly how far it will go because the order books will be the order books will be the thing that determines the fate of that move, depending on what the order books are at that specific time. Because if it's super, super good filled and it's like lighting a spark and exploding and like a domino effect down, it could be crazy amount of longs we get up here. So that will remain to be seen. It's very difficult to predict the velocity of a market when the order books are all leveraged up and it's only one-on-one leverage. So I think it'll be a big move. And then that's my medium-term predictions to come back down probably after a move off this to the upside. And then I do think on the long term, we were talking about this in the chat. I was talking about some family about this as well. Just thinking that, this cycle, I just have a hunch that this cycle, it could be one of the most grand, crazy, big cycles that we're going to see in crypto. Just because the participants that are in crypto right now and the participants who are about to join is just such a big difference we've seen in the past. And I think that you're getting in now at a point where the smallest player is about to be, kind of dwarfed by a big player. We've got like Vanguard, Fidelity, BlackRock, all these big players. Essentially right now getting into Bitcoin is, if you want to pour water into, say, an ocean, right now to pour the water into the ocean, it's like a straw. And the analogy is the straw is like the entry to Bitcoin to get into the liquidity, or say a pond, right? When we have all these big ETFs ready to go, it's almost like that straw becomes like a huge, massive tube. So it's almost like bandwidth, right? It's like the internet. The bandwidth availability for money to come into the market with ETFs, especially grand ETFs like BlackRock, the bandwidth for potential inflow is just exponentially increased. So I do think that this market cycle on the long term, going into my moon boy shit, I think it really is going to be one of the biggest cycles we see. And I think the highest point it will go is $1 million, but I do think being conservative would probably be around $200,000. But just looking at the market, guys, everything happening, especially with fiat currencies. If we do see a fiat currency collapse, it's going to be that's the real bet. If we see a big major fiat currency collapse and you have big on ramps available, all roads will lead to Bitcoin because you can't get into gold. Because if you buy gold, you're going to have like a day to get into the gold market, because as soon as we have a systemic collapse in fiat, the gold bullion price is going to go ridiculous. The premium is going to jump, and you're not going to be able to get spot gold. It's just, you won't even be able to find it. It'll all just be offshore moves. Everyone's running around. You won't be able to get the physical thing. So gold's off the thing. You won't be able to buy real estate because it's just not liquid enough. It's not easy enough. Fine wine, can't get hands on it. Not liquid. Can't get into land. Can't get into art. The only thing which is 24/7 liquid, easy to buy in a crisis, it's going to be BTC. But I'm doing the moon boy shit. But it's just the fucking all roads are leading to Bitcoin if you have a fiat currency collapse. Anyway, that's my stuff there. So guys, also check out the MDX Trading Bot. So let me bring it up for you right now. On the copy trading on Bingx, I don't know where we're actually at with it. I think it's not in a trade right now. We will see. I think, guys, what you can do is come on here and have a look at current positions. Now, there's nothing open right now. Come and check out the MDX Trading Bot, guys, on Bingx. Also, I was going to mention as well, one other thing, mdxalgo.com. We've still got the MDX 35% off right now. So you can get all of our products and services, the trading bots, the academy, the mentoring, the private group, the indicators. I think I said that at the start. You can get all that right now, guys, for Cyber Monday for 35% off. You need to use the code MDX35. I haven't got the banner right now, but there is a banner somewhere you can look at. It just says, just use the code MDX35 at checkout, and you can get all the products and services we provide for 35% off. Now, I'm going to tap in another legend. And in the chat, guys, tell us where you're watching from, which country put your flag. And we'll tap in the one and only, the professional trader we have in the group, Smallio. How you doing, broski? Are you living the dream? How's it going?
What is good, brother? I am indeed.
Let's talk, man. What's going on? What do you think's going to happen? You've already been predicting everything in our group. So, you know, you do your daily live predictions in the Pro Signals group. But let's hear it from the, your mouth. Let's hear the words come out from the mouth, the God himself. What's going on?
Very much the same as you, mate. Basically the same analysis, but I think slightly different as far as going into the next couple of weeks to months. I don't actually think that we're going to get the nuke. I think this will just carry on going up and deviating. We've seen this kind of price action before, and I think, in the lead up, similar to, I think it was 9K to 14K, I think really you just saw price just really slowly grinding up and trapping more shorts. And I actually think that's going to happen this time. I don't think we actually nuke through and get any of this liquidity until we go up and tap the sort of 48K zone, and then you get the huge candle down. Just because, I think in this zone, they're really saving up. At the end of the day, each time that they come and take this liquidity, we need to build up more. And I think it's a very slow parabolic curve that's forming, which I think is going to lead us to.
Where do you think that parabola ends, though? What price?
Yeah, 48.50, somewhere around that region. Makes sense.
I'm thinking between, I think 42 is the lowest point. I don't think it goes above 50. I said in my January 1st forecast, I said by the end of the year, I think we could be between 40 and 48K. And the institution,
I think it could deviate. I think it could deviate 50 on a wick easily.
Yeah.
On, how crazy it gets. Remember that pump when you and I were trading in the summer, and it literally went from like 10K to 14K in one day. You never know with that. All it takes is one big lick.
Yeah, it literally, of course. That's why I say the velocity is more difficult to predict than the direction, because you just don't know the order books. Like there could just be like 100 mil order, which just gets blasted and just goes to the moon. But like
Binance at the bottom. Yep.
9.2% is still where we're at. This is, I think, updated every week. So I just want to see this grow to 14%. I said in my start of the year forecast, I was like, look, if Bitcoin, if the amount of institutions, ETFs, private companies, public companies, and countries, if that goes to 14%, we've got a good shot at 48,000. But right now we're at basically 10%. And I said the 1st of January, I think at the end of the year we'll be at 40K. You guys can all go watch that video. I literally said between 16 and 14K, we go to 30, we then drop to 25, we go flat for a bit, and then by the end of the year, probably 40. But anything else? So that's so short term, you think this on your chart, right? Very similar to what I was saying. We're at support, you buy until you're proven otherwise. And then medium term, you're saying 50, maybe on the top side. And then long term, what do you think long term, bro?
46 to 50. Long term, nowhere near as bullish as you. I think we top out somewhere around, I don't know, 160 to 220, something like that.
But do you think, Will, you've been in this, you've been trading for the same amount of time than me, roughly, give or speak, maybe 6 months. So I'd say that, look, really this time round, with the participants that are about to get on board, this is what I say in my head. I was like, is it time to be conservative now? I actually am being conservative between 200 and 260, but it's one of those ones where it's like, maybe it's not time to be conservative. Maybe this is just going to rip to like something ungodly.
I mean, if it does, it'd be glorious, right? But I think at the end of the day, we've been seeing less returns each time. I don't see why that would change, because loads of smart people have bought loads of Bitcoin. I think they'll just try and front run each other and sell earlier. At the end of the day, they used to making like, 20% each year. Like for them to make 100% on their Bitcoin is absolutely massive. They're going to fucking dump.
Yeah. But do you think like this, because I'm not talking about money management. I'm talking about money management firms. I'm not talking about hedge funds and people who buy and sell to make money. I'm talking about BlackRock, Vanguard, and Fidelity allowing just anyone to buy, because they just, it's not their decision. They just buy at spot and then they just offer it. And if there's a big demand for it, they just buy more spot.
Yeah, I think there will be. I don't know. It's hard to say. If there's anything from the CME data of how bad some of these guys are at actually trading, I think a lot of them might just might get wrecked. Who knows? Who knows, guys? We're just looking at it. Everyone always talks about these institutional guys being gods, and realistically, we've been out trading them for 10 years. Let's be real.
Yeah,
we've been buying Bitcoin literally a decade before they even knew about it. So I don't have high hopes for them. I hope that they get wrecked. It'll be absolutely hilarious if we dump on our bags on them and they're buying the top. So I hope that happens.
Yeah, well, these money management firms who use the CME, they've just been doing it, clearly by this data, they've just been doing exactly what retail do. So we were talking about this earlier, actually. We're like, the game of the game here, let's just say MDX algo is a product, or the trading bots we sell, or the indicators, or the product, right? All you're trying to do is just beat the market from being a hodler. Like if you just hodl, you're not a trader, you're an investor. So these guys are supposed to trade the market, but they're not doing that. They're just hodling. So like the idea of trading is just to beat the general growth of the market. So beating inflation essentially, and then make extra on top of that. And that we know that with our trading bots, it has 4,000% gross profit. The net profit is 1.2K because it has drawdowns. But if you just mitigate the drawdowns and get towards that gross profit, you're basically just making more money than the market would have given you anyway. But the asset managers on the CME, and this is just one data pool, but this is family offices, hedge funds, asset managers, essentially. They've just been hodling. They haven't even really been spreading. They haven't even a little bit of short in September 22 when we mooned to they've just been let's look, January 23, the start of the year. They were just that's it. It's been hodling the whole way through, all the way down. And then as we went to the bottom, they just kept increasing. They were long.
An interesting thing, the CME is actually delayed this week. I don't know why. It's 3 days late.
They love that one.
They're dodgy, man.
I hate it.
The one thing I do look at is this, because this doesn't technically mean, a lot of people say, but the dealers are short, so it can't go up. That's not true. It can go up because they essentially are liquidity providers. So they do just take the opposite side of the asset managers. But we do know that they're unlikely going to be this short when Bitcoin breaks the all-time high, because they will take a directional play. So them being short is just like, to me, long-term, we're not there yet. But it's very unlikely that these guys are going to go, okay, well, let's just keep, let's just not make any money. Let's just fill the books and be liquidity providers and be market makers, and then just not take a directional trade up for the upside on the all-time breakout. So there probably will be a point where, these guys will still be mad long. They've lost loads of money through fees and all the bullshit they paid during just being long the whole way from 69 down to 15. But what we'll probably see is the dealers will begin to go long as well. And then the asset managers and dealers will be long. And everyone will just be long. No one will be selling. And that's when I think the ETFs have a play. Because then it's just like, okay, well, the bandwidth.
And in January, we nuke.
Yeah, the bandwidth is increased, yeah.
I also wonder, it's a bit wishy-washy because you don't really want to bet against the entire thing, the entire trend changing. But I wonder if in future, because of this buy pressure, we will still get obviously bear markets, but they won't be as intense. And you'll see it drop.
End up like gold,
You'll see it drop 50%, and then everyone steps into buy. So it might be a 2-3 pronged bull run where we see it continuously go up, and we have these these sell-offs similar to I think it was 2013 one or whatever. But you could see that again.
This bear market was 48% on gold, so I completely agree with you. It's just going to end up being like gold bear markets.
Yeah, just trades.
This is another 50%er. Yeah. This is actually 36%.
Yeah, I think that might actually happen because it will trade like gold, won't it? Just more.
It's just going to end up trading like gold. Yeah, I've said it from the beginning. At the end of the day, this one here, it's just it will just get shallower but slower. But the only reason I'm bringing this up is just because I'll just be seeing so many people. I did a tweet. Can you see my screen, by the way? Am I showing my screen? I think I am. So I did a tweet with this. This is just a bit of a joke, let's short 32K. And loads of people were just going mental. Just well, there's some good ones as well, but quite a lot of them I read, and I was like, okay, these guys are actually really salty about this. No, calm down, no, relax. Obviously, he's taking the piss out of Gath because Gath is a twat. But there's some like this guy, you're invalidating this. I was just reading it what? Why is this the thing? It's because people have missed the move. And they're
Yeah,
pissed
I
off
think
that-
pain is keep going, honestly. Like, I think pain, like, people are taking this whole COVID dump thing and thinking it happens every time. That's the anomaly, right? That's only ever
that was
happened.
that was the exception,
Yes,
not the
that's
rule.
the anomaly. Yeah. So if we just keep going up, that is max pain because everyone's
if you do look at, if you go back though and far enough, I do think there will be another one, just because of the time period, and also if you do go back far enough to the prior cycles, it's not just like the COVID one, because like I actually think the COVID one would have happened anyway. I think a lot of markets do it. Like when we bottomed out here, you know, we had this really nice bear market rally. You could even say here and then back up. But again, we had another one here as well, and it even retested the low, just a retest of the low, essentially, of just the whole market low. So I just think there is going to be another retest, and even here as well, mooned out of it. This one's a good example of not happening, just up only. So yeah, one, and that was the dump, but it still pulled back on here. This is going back to 2012 probably. It still had its bear market rally and then had the nuke of 50%. So I'm just saying, I think it's unlikely that it doesn't. Okay, look, here's the best way to think about it. You're long until proven otherwise. When the nuke does happen eventually, you get stopped out on your longs because you have to be long. And then wherever it takes us, whether it's, you know, a shallow correction, whether we go to 42 and then we go all the way back down here, that's a crazy one. If it just goes back down to the prior local support, wherever it goes, you just have to identify that as a higher low. And then that is going to be the first confirmed higher low of a bull market, not a bear market rally. This is the bear market rally, confirmed higher low. Okay, everyone's like, yes, we're in a bull market now. No, we're not. We've got to confirm something above here. Now we've broken out. Here's the next wave, back down. And then that will be the first high level bull market. So that's the bear market rally essentially from the beginning. But yeah, I agree with you guys. Like, there doesn't have to be this next nuke. But then you look at the liquidation engine. There's just so much shit beneath us. So it's there's a lot of guys who are getting long.
The books are also so much thicker than they used to be. Like, the thing is, guys, remember, like, when we were on BitMEX in 2017, a 10 million market sell could dump the market like 20%, just from the cause of liquidations cascading. And now, like, you can't dump it with like 20 mil. Like, it's like, or a lot more than that, like 50. You have to really go for it. So I don't know.
We can all agree. Yeah, go on. Sorry, what you're saying?
I do think times are changing, and I think it's you know, we can look at historical data, but I think it's getting less and less relevant, and new things will happen.
Yeah, of course. Well, anything can happen anytime in any market, of course. It's good to look at some shit, but yeah, you know what I mean? I think we can all agree on right now that this is still, you're bullish until proven otherwise. You're long until proven otherwise. I think it's very I've already got my orders set here, guys. If you're watching my stream, I said multiple times, it's a deviation. We're likely to come down here. The only trade you have is buying this support level at this trend line. Actually, right now, let's go right down lower TF. We're getting something nice right now, and this does look pretty nice, actually. Big move off it, back down, higher, low, probably continue up higher. Maybe one more, but let's just wait because of those longs. But yeah, we know for the short term we're going to continue. I think 40, everyone's like, no, we're going to dump. Sure. I just think 42 is pretty likely, you know, and then we get something. But like you said, Will, if it's your scenario plays out and the medium term just doesn't come back, just keeps laddering up, could be interesting. Right, let's bring on the old. We actually got a nice little. Someone paid $10. Let's read the comment quickly, and then I'll bring you in, Chris, for your analysis. Yo, MDX Jesus coin. Jesus coin has risen past ATH. Risen again. It's like Jesus on fucking whatever it's called, Rise Day. What did he do? Was it which day did he rise? Can't remember. Don't know. Not religious. So past ATH is now in price discovery. So I'm just sharing some love, God bless, and thank you. So we'll look at Jesus coin in a minute because Jesus is he resurrected, but we'll bring in Crypto Viking. And Will, if you want to stay around, you can. If you don't, just drop off. But I'm going
to tap out. It's late here, but you gents have a great stream, and we'll see you next week.
See you later, brother.
All right, man.
See you in the group. Let's do it, bro.
Peace. So, yeah, I was actually kind of disappointed about the whole CME report being delayed again. Yeah, I know it was the holiday, Thursday and a half day Friday, but in any case, it's always sketching me. It always sketches me out, man, because you never really know. It's like, you know, they were doing this a couple of months ago. They said, oh, there was our information provider, Ion, was blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, massive changes happened during the time we weren't getting reports. Anyways.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. So in the local structure, I tend to agree with everything. We've got a nice little potential move up. I think it's a bit early. This kind of feels here kind of like what we were doing back in Tuesday from middle of the month, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I agree.
So if we do actually have local rejection of structure, which is, you know, local rejection of structure, local rejection of structure. We should see a deeper dive down, like not that specifically. The thing that I'm worried about the most is like there's some mid-level support somewhere right around, I don't know, 36.3, 36.4. If we don't hold that, we have to hold the low. If we start losing lows, now we can actually start worrying about distribution on a higher time frame. And I think there's still a lot of demand there, even down here at like 35.3, like you were talking about. We have lots and lots of support above the previous ranges. And the massive amount of long liquidity that's still in play from that move up from end of October, early November, that's still valid and can be accessed, but only if we lose the upside range. Like, the way I'm looking at this is simply is that we're in the upside range right now, right? This is the upside range. Play it as such, but the overall priority is to the upside until proven otherwise.
Yeah, high lows.
If we start losing
high lows, good volume. Also, the oscillator there, your nice little on-chain data is looking pretty nice.
Oh yeah, this thing's I love this. This is like the cheat code, but because we're pulling the USC, we're pulling stablecoin demand based off of retail traders from on-chain data, so it's actually correlated. So yeah, we're getting a little bit oversold over time frame, but realistically, I look at it kind of as a perspective of this, which is we're at the lows. We've lost some levels from the weekend. We had really bad volume flipping on Sunday to come make the drive down. That was a pretty clear move down from about 37.8 down to where we are now at like 36.7, 36.8. So lower time frame could get a little bit of a bounce. I don't really care until we start getting over 37.5. That's the local weekly open. It's also the most local level for resistance that we've seen a flip of level. Like this has been retested. This is the local resistance. You flip that and you come back up and test the highs. So even if that high test only leads you to something like 38.2, or even the overall highs at like 38.4, that's fine. But that's the expectation if we regain the weekly open.
So you're in the same camp. It's bullish. It's long as proven otherwise. You're saying that you think there could be a slightly deeper pullback because you think it's a little bit no man's landy here. So on my chart, it's a little bit more. I think we're coming up against some nice support here. But I do agree with you what you're saying. The long to short ratio isn't really agreeing with this being like on the lower time frames. Let me just quickly whip it up for everybody in the chat. Actually, the longs are piling in right here, and that's not a good sign. Obviously, it is a good time to get in. They're now the same as the top traders. So the top traders usually get it right more often than the retail traders. But retail traders being the same as top traders isn't a great sign. So yeah, I do think you could be right. Maybe it's a sweep down here to some of these levels. It's an up, and it's maybe a little bit of a deeper sweep. This would get everyone, because obviously this is breaking, and everyone's looking at the same fucking bullshit. That I think this could get everyone mega scared, and then you just get like that, and it's just like, see you later, legends.
I mean, that's all you need to do is deviate from the trend. And if you do have a deviation of the trend that breaks down, the level I'm looking at below is some mid-range support around 36.3. So if we do get back down here, like that's the level I don't want to really flip. If we flip that level, we have to retest the low structure at like 35.6. I still think that that's still potential buys for continuation. We'll check and see at that point if we get down there. If there's some changes that make us feel like, okay, shit, everyone else is trying to buy here too, thinking we're just going to have a breakout. So we actually do the damn thing first. But until that happens, it's still up only. That's the level I really don't want to flip. And like this is, I see this.
Yeah, you're looking at the same level as me. Yeah. 30. Are you looking at 35,600-ish or 35,300-ish? Is that the level you're looking at?
35.6. Yeah. So this is the low I don't want to lose, because the way I'm looking at this as well, and let me just switch back and turn some of the stuff off and go high time frame on you. So
yeah, go medium term. I want to hear the thesis as well after you explain this. I want to hear what you think about 42 to 48 and then a nuke. I want to hear what you have to say.
I think that's the most likely thing right now, but the longer we stay up in this upside range and not actually break out, the less likely I think it's going to be. And the only reason I say that is because we actually did from all the new highs we popped on lower time frames, 4 hour and below, we actually closed the daily out lower than the previous high. So we've actually perfectly tested this 37.7 structure, failed it back down, the rejection from the very high time frame structure all the way back from the support from 18 months ago, Q1, Q2 flip of 2022. So we are rejecting that now, but even on the weekly, this is no different structure than we've done in the last 2 weeks, where we have some downside traction. We have like an early week kind of nuke down, and then
bloody Monday, and then absolutely just go the other way.
Yeah. So the only differences I see now is that we're getting into the end of the month, right? Thursday, that's the 30th, the last day. Friday will be the 1st of December. And there's a lot of important stuff coming on. I think we'll know a bit better going into Wednesday, Thursday when some volatility comes in. We've got GDP rates coming in, as well as on Thursday we have personal income, personal spending. And the big thing there also, our boy, Mr. Powell, is speaking on the 1st of December on Friday. So
he's going to try and ruin fucking Christmas, isn't he, man? He's just coming out in December. Like, he should be banned from December with his tiny little mouth, quivering lip, because he just talks so much bullshit.
Like, like, no joke. Like, I made this joke when we were live stream. We used to live stream this thing all the time because he was speaking and he's like shaking like a leaf, and it's like, I wonder who's holding a gun on him. I'm just like outside the camera. Like, he's like, don't say it.
Yeah, I don't know what. I think it's like in his neck as well. I don't know. There's something wrong with him. Like, it looks like he's just like not. It looks like he's made of jelly. Yeah, he needs to drink.
Looks like he's wearing a skin suit.
Yeah, he's in a fucking lizard, isn't he? So yeah, tell me the medium term thesis. So I'm thinking, yeah, it's potentially 42 or 48, depending on long and short ratio. And then I think there could be a liquidity squeeze to the downside in terms of, I think a lot of guys are going to get very long. I think the market, if it begins to rally up to 42, 48, a lot of people are going to start saying, fuck, I have missed it, and they FOMO.
Yeah,
that could be the catalyst. So tell me, let's have a look at liquidations as well. I love it when you bring up your liquidation charts, because obviously they're in the MDX algo suite, the MDX Trendmaster suite. But they do take a lot of resources to get those looking good and working. So,
yeah, just give me a second. I'll pop those on real quick. But the one thing I want to say, I'm up here on like the monthly of all things. There is a level we don't want to get below by Thursday. If there's for any reason we start dumping and we actually start closing, deviating below 35K by the end of the month close, we're actually completing a monthly retest of bull market support, and it'd be a retest failure. And that's the fear, that if we actually do that, but we're so far above it right now, I don't think it's a question until we actually start failing it.
Yeah, lovely. So let's talk about liquidations, because I do think, you know, Will's more of the thesis right now where he thinks up only and just grindy. But, you know, we have to look at long to short and just see what's happening, because if we do get a pop back up through this and you see all that liquidity above, we get this. And guys, just to mention, all of these indicators you see are completely available on mdxalgo.com. We're still doing the Cyber Monday deal. It's not the good deal we did on Black Friday for 80% off, but it's still 35% off for yearly and monthly. You can get these high block style liquidation zones with our new heat map indicator as well. But there are a lot of longs, high leverage beneath us. Show us, brother.
Yes. Yeah, so that's the big thing now. We've been playing out a pretty similar pattern over the last 3 weeks, which is, you know, we have nice runs up going into the Thursday, Friday of the week, stagnation over the weekend, flush down to grab liquidity Monday, Tuesday, and then by midweek we're off to the races again. Did the exact same thing last week, did it the week before. We're doing it right now. There's high leverage long liquidity still below us, down to about 36.3.
Just a little bit there, yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I'd want to see us hold for a more strong potential bounce higher. There are also short liquidity being built up above 37.8. So likely we get the regain of the weekly open, which is around 37.5. We should be accessing that liquidity higher to retest high structure, because these are 100x and 50x positions. Like, they don't get free rides. They get taken out dozens of times a day. And that's just the reality of the market. So I'm not worried about too much of a deeper drive.
Just to whip up my chart, I do. What you're saying here is, you know, we are at support. I do think, let me just actually go on the 4 hour so you can see it a bit clearer. Make it so the candles are nice and juicy for everyone. But I just want to reiterate this point one more time. There is a nice, I am long in terms of I've been filled on actually a few different exchanges, and even Revolut I've been playing around with. It's quite fun. So here, I do think there is a long. We are getting something now, but I wouldn't surprise me to see a bit more of a push down to here, because this wick here got tagged by that. I wouldn't surprise me to see at least here, you know, just a little, and then break this trend. Everyone's like, oh my God, it's over. And then it just goes up again. So I do think it's long until proven otherwise, guys. But there could be a little bit more here. But again, I told you I'm already filled. Let me have a look at this on the 5 minute, actually. It seems to be trying to do something. It's a pretty nice move. We've already been filled down here. It's whether we hold that and what you're looking for, guys, on lower TF, just to bring it to 5 minute for you lovely scalpers. Something around here holds this fine. If you break that, make a lower high, come down, and you're looking for the low.
Flip that supply above, and it invalidates the downside. Like,
yeah, exactly.
All you do is flip that. That's it. Very simple.
Look at this chart, guys. Let's absolutely moon it. Like, if this can be it, then I'm filled. It's looking great. But I would just say, just keep an eye out because there could be one more liquidity push, like Chris was saying. You can see here there is a little bit of high level longs beneath it. I'm in or in my position already. If it does do another one, I'll look to re-enter for this long until proven otherwise, because it essentially, I do think 42k, maybe even 48k, depending on long to short, is coming, and then the Giga Nuke to wipe out all the longs, because everyone's just going to hit the green button, aren't they, Chris? As soon as you get above 42.
And that's the psychology of it, man. If everyone who's been trying to short and continuing to try and short, and that's why every weekend, oh yeah, it's going to go down. Let's keep shorting, short. And then what happens going into midweek, the last 2 weeks? Well, you've had the rip to the upside because every new short is providing fuel. And that's something a lot of people kind of like misunderstand about the market is when people who are in shorts, they get liquidated or stopped out of their positions, whatever their position size is, the only way to exit that short is to long. That's the market effect.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah. That's the same reason why we have giga pumps and giga dumps.
Yeah. We talk about this all the time, man. It's just essentially it's just a forced buy or sell. And that's why the books move so quickly. It's actually beautiful in a way. But let me talk about long term, because I just said to Chrissy, I said to Will, this market cycle, I just have a hunch that this could be one of those market cycles which is very, very aggressive. We didn't have a very aggressive last cycle. 20k was the high. We went to 70. It's only 3x off the high. That's quite low, actually, in comparison to other market cycles. So with me, I'm like, with these big players, the bandwidth is going to grow. The kind of pipe to get in. At the moment, it's a straw to get into crypto. It's going to turn into a fucking pipe the size of an industrial pipe. The bandwidth is going to go up. So I think that this cycle is one of those ones where you got to be long until proven otherwise, but with have a little bit of your, I don't know how to explain this. Just be ready for maybe something pretty monumental, because with these big players, the Vanguards and the fucking BlackRocks and the Fidelities, they're opening this up, and we're looking very, very warm now for this to get passed, especially with Binance out of the picture. And then you've got, the SEC speaking with BlackRock recently. So look, that's all a lot of news and a lot of unknowns there and a lot of non-quantifiable data. I'm just saying that long term, which we're talking about right now, if it goes through, this could be a big, big move for Bitcoin in terms of just the fundamental inflow. So what do you think about long term? You think $1 million is possible this cycle?
No, definitely not. The problem that I have too is that it's like, yes, there's going to be a lot more access to it, and you're going to have a lot of entities that are going to be really interested in getting exposure to Bitcoin, which previously it was either through futures, OTC, or they were buying MicroStrategy stock and stuff like that to get exposure. The problem is too is that we know for a fact that all of these major entities, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, whatever they are, they're all buying Bitcoin OTC. So if they're buying OTC, there's not going to be a relevant effect on the price on the market. And because they're buying it directly, like it's a handshake deal. It's like a peer-to-peer effectively. So the problem, so the problem then becomes is that what's the argument for them to, buy, which is Bitcoin at 37K, instead of flushing it down, where realistically, if it was me and I had like literally infinite money, which they have, why wouldn't I just acquire shit tons of Bitcoin and OTC and then just dump it on the market and crater the price and then scoop everything up as much as I could to get a strong foothold into the marketplace? Now, I'm not saying like that's definitely going to happen, but there's some really interesting things happening, especially beginning of next year. You've got the next round of ETFs approval. So there's like that thing is in January, I think mid-January. And then you also have for the majority of them. And then the last one is in March, where they have to review the spot ETFs. And the other interesting thing, I'm going to keep screaming it because people aren't talking about it, is the CBOE, the Chicago Board Options Exchange, is listing Bitcoin and Ethereum futures on the 11th of January. And like, that, what people don't realize, and those of us who've been in the market long enough and like been through a few cycles, like what happened when the CME listed what happened when the CME listed their futures? You got a 69% down move in 2 months. Now, I'm not saying it was only driven by that. I'm saying that it exacerbated the price movement down. Like obviously the Bitcoin, the rally back in 2017, we all was like, yeah, 10K, it's got to be done. And then it just went to 20K. We're like, what the hell's going on? So at the end of the day, like if one of the biggest entities on the planet for institutional exposure with futures is now also going to be offering that, and the same time as this next round of spot ETFs. Tons of stuff happening on OTC with large entities trying to get exposure. I mean, who knows what'll happen? We could just go straight down for a bit and then retest stuff that's technically untested. But until that happens, until there's any evidence of us breaking down, like you'd essentially just be, on a guess and a hunch, or unless you're an insider like with them. And then it's like, okay, well, I mean,
don't give us away, bro. Don't give us away. Stop being naughty. So this is what I think. This is my conservative estimate for the long-term analysis. And, overall, this is the only way I can come to a conclusion of where generally I think price is going. Because obviously with blue sky breakouts, it is just difficult to analyze the velocity of a move to the upside because there's so unknowns from today than what's going to be there. And also we don't have any resistance above us for logical entry or SR trading. And, there could be anything. Like this is my conservative estimate. If the world at large stays the same as it is today, let's just say the world order is the same as it is today with the dollar standard. Okay, that's what I say. I think that what happens is the cycle very, very top side is $270,000 is the very, very top, and then maybe even as low as 121. It's a pretty broad area, but every single time we've done this with these Fibonacci extensions, it is just a broad area. Sometimes it goes above it. Sometimes it actually always goes above it, but with a wick. So if you did get above it, it's going to be maybe 300K at the top. That could be an interesting. So completely long-term, this is my prediction. I've already made it. I've got my ETH prediction out there as well. But I would say that around 300,000 would be the tibbity top, okay? But I think it'd be difficult to get through that just by going through this very plain technical analysis. But we have to remember, that's going by... We have a normal world order. The dollar's still the highest denominated currency of the planet for people doing transactions. But we know that things are beginning to change extremely quickly and much faster than I thought. I thought the BRICS nations wouldn't come off the dollar as soon as they did. I didn't think that we were going to have this hype. I didn't think that the offset of COVID was going to come and hit inflation as hard as it did, especially, price increases basically, especially in the UK. It's like 38% in a year. It's like, what? Like that was really, really aggressive considering the velocity of money's low. So if we do get to a stage where we do see a systemic collapse in a big fiat currency, whether it's the euro, the dollar, the renminbi, or I think a Japanese yen would even probably cause a cascade, then we're looking at, okay, this could get crazy. And then no one knows. It is completely unknown how much of that purchasing power from a fiat currency will go into Bitcoin. All we know is that Bitcoin will be very attractive for most people to buy. 24/7 liquid, low premium to get in. And you buy the asset. You actually buy the asset as 100% ownership sovereignty of the asset if you can hold it yourself with no third party. Because we know that, firstly, if we did have a fiat currency collapse, gold is going to be off the shelves. You're going to need someone to store a big amount of gold. So you have to rely on somebody else. There'll be a bullion premium of probably 30%. We always know that high demand for gold, bullion premiums go up. So you won't be able to get the physical spot and it won't be on the shelves. You won't be able to get it. You won't be able to buy art or real estate or fine wine because it's not liquid enough. It takes years, maybe even months sometimes it can take months to buy a house, but it's difficult. Land, no. Everyone's going to be just on their land fucking thinking what's going on in fear. Real estate, no. Yeah, fine art, no. Wine, no. Maybe some alternative metals. But guess what? Bitcoin's going to be sitting there as the easy on-flow, no bullion premium, no fucking crazy. You can own it on yourself. You can put it on a ledger with no weight. It's just going to get crazy. So I think all roads lead to Bitcoin in a new world order style situation. That's my long-term analysis. I've said it multiple times. We all know this. But I think that's why I think this cycle could be one to really, really remember, like a historical one, just because we have now got that perfect connection to the institutional realm. But it's not there yet. I'm just saying it probably will be there, looking at what's happening in the progression of it. SEC sitting down with BlackRock. We could have that by January 1st. What are your thoughts on that, my friend?
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely possible. It's just like, I was reading the chat here. Somebody was saying like, yeah, they're not long-term holders. Like, that's true. I mean, Will made that good point as well when he was talking about his doing his analysis is that, these large entities, they're used to making 20% a year. And if Bitcoin does this on a massive move, like they could crater the price before you make an all-time high. Not saying that's the expectation.
But that's not what I understand the point, but I don't think that's what we're talking about, though, because we're not talking about a hedge fund or a fund or a family office buying. What we're talking about is a BlackRock, which are just buying on behalf of someone else. So do you know what I mean? Like, this is what it's slightly different to saying, like, an institution or a CME or a hedge fund are buying it, because they're going to buy and they're going to sell. But the thing is, with a BlackRock or a Fidelity or a State Street or a Vanguard, is that actually a lot of what they do is not based on what they think. They're just doing what they think, or just giving their customers a product. So it's kind of like what they're just doing is they're just filling the demand for the customer and charging a fee. So it's basically a clearinghouse. So this is what I'm trying to say. It's like, it's not really about BlackRock saying, I'm going to take a directional trade on this. It's not about that. It's just about the bandwidth of people being able to buy, if they wanted to, goes up, and then BlackRock will be forced to go buy OTC. And in some cases, maybe they might be forced to go on Coinbase and actually hit the spot order book, because there might not be enough.
Well, they're buying through Coinbase OTC. Like,
it's OTC Coinbase.
Sure. Yeah,
we've seen some charts, but I'm just saying, like, they might be forced, mate, at some point. Like, if the customers want it, they might have to go and do some crazy shit and just like hit some fucking order books and be like, let's just go buy spot on this exchange, and then just start finding it here and there. It could get nuts. I'm talking in a moment of new world order. So this is what I'm saying. Like, I understand Will's point, but I don't think we're talking about people who are trying to do direction. I think we're talking about entities that are just facilitating a product for everybody else.
Yeah. For the spot ETFs, totally get it. But I meant, like, if they wanted to manipulate price and then take shit tons of their OTC and then dump it off on the markets.
But would they, if you're seeing a fiat currency collapse style moment where the dollar is failing, where are they first going? There might be a stalemate situation where everyone just
they're going digital dollar. Like, at the end of the day, the only way to get people to do that,
not in a failure
they have to like, they're not going to give up on the dollar no matter what. Like, the US would literally have to, like, fall apart. Like,
when we're talking about who, like, I'm saying, in a fight to flight situation where the US dollar is hyperinflating or failing and there's a new world order moment, right? They're not going to be buying digital dollars, because there is going to be no one who will take any amount of dollars for that Bitcoin.
No, they're going to try and essentially issue. They would have to try to essentially issue central bank digital currencies to try to restabilize it, and
which would make it work. So I actually don't really agree with this thesis at all. I don't think I'm talking about a fight to flight situation where there's a new world order and a fiat currency collapse. I'm talking about a fiat currency collapse situation, like. There's not going to be some guy trying to get into dollars. It's just going to be the other way around. Like, see you on the flippers. Let's get the fuck out. It's going to be gold.
Oh yeah. I mean, like that's talking like end game stuff.
Yeah. I'm literally talking end game stuff right now. I've moved it from hypothesis to end game to let's moonboy this.
I mean, yeah, and then everyone's paying with Lightning everywhere. I mean, just to get by, and everything's on the Bitcoin. The problem is they won't let it happen, because their idea is that it has to be. The problem with Bitcoin is the lack of control. That's why there's this scramble been going on the last couple of years to develop central bank digital currencies, and then they still wrongly say that, but it's like money. It's like, no, it's like money, except when they want to see exactly where you're spending your money, or want to restrict you from spending it, or if you look, just read into the pilot programs in China. Like, I'm not going to go through everything, but it's not like China's all CBDC, but the pilot programs, some of them are absolutely freaking terrifying. They've the most extreme one I've seen was like, they've took all the residents, they bioscanned them, and they linked that to a digital ID, linked to their central bank digital currency. Oh, you drove 1 kilometer an hour over the speed limit, you're instantly ticketed. Oh, you jaywalked, you're instantly ticketed. If you hang out with certain types of people who have low credit scores, it can restrict your access or make you pay higher premiums for loans. And like, that's like some fucking Black Mirror shit. That's like, we don't want none of that. We don't. Yeah, and it's not like a systemic thing. Like, it's everywhere, but they are doing it in places, and like, that should be. Instead of like the powers that be in the Western world going like, oh, that's fucking crazy, we should have none of that. Everyone's like, ooh, tell us how you manipulated your population. Like, that's what worries me. And I'm like, God damn, like, they really want to go for it. And That
I'm just
seems
trying
kind of
to
like
see
the plan.
chat. Let's do some alts. What altcoins are you interested in, brother? We'll chart some, and then we'll do. But yeah, I'm agreeing with that, mate. China's mental, but the only thing China did, which was good, was at least open up some free private enterprise. But let's not go down that road, bro, because we could be here for a long fucking time, man. And we only got 10 minutes left. I want to keep it to an hour. So a lot of people saying Ethereum, Solana, obviously the big ones. I just don't see the point in really you're looking at ETH. It's just the same chart as Bitcoin. It's a little bit. It's not as bullish actually as Bitcoin. But
ETH is actually in a decent range.
Yeah, I think obviously this is my. I've just left this on here because I drew this out start of the year when we dumped, and I was like, I think we'll do something like this, and it's kind of coming true. I just think ETH is going to do some absolute giga shit. I think everyone's underestimated. Everyone's like, oh no. The reason ETH isn't performing right now in comparison to Bitcoin is just because ETH doesn't have a massive spot ETF coming up and looming. And at the moment, Bitcoin's doing the buy the rumor, and then the news will come out, and then it will sell off, and then a lot of that will go to Ethereum. So I think Ethereum will pick that up, and I don't think all this bullshit. The Solana killer. You cannot compare Bitcoin. You cannot compare Ethereum and Solana. I'm not going there. Look on my Twitter. I've already debunked all the idiots who think that it can be compared to each other. But I'm saying Ethereum, yeah, it looks pretty good to me. I think there's no point really doing it. If Bitcoin breaks out, Ethereum will follow. And a lot of these altcoins like Solana are probably more interesting to look at just because they are, a lot further down in their cycle. Like Bitcoin already did its bear market rally. Like Solana is kind of only just doing its bear market rally now. So it's going to have a nice move and it's going to do well, but there's likely going to be a snapback to something at some point. Actually getting it now, to be honest. I've already been saying Solana would be nice to see a retest of some lower levels like down here. I'm not saying that this is it. This is unlikely. It doesn't have to be the top. You have a flat bottom here, just if you guys are on Sol. You have a nice flat bottom here. You do have some lower highs coming into it. If I can actually draw things on my chart. There are some lower highs coming into it, so it is descending to a degree, but it's not enough right now to say that that's the top. I would also say if you put on some, it just literally popped up. It's really what you're looking for is to get above these areas, these pockets. So
it's
for
building
me,
shorts.
I would say, are you looking on your charts? Are you looking at on-chain data, or are you looking at the charts in terms of? You said it's building up shorts. How do you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, look at the market structure above you. They're letting invert the chart. They're letting
They're
letting shorts build, and there's untested high structure there, exactly where we just were. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm saying here, if we come to here, back up, another lower high, you could have a thesis that it breaks, but I'm not looking to short that. I'm looking to short the retest of it and then the absolute nuke. And then to the upside on Solana, it's essentially if you hold above here at a higher low, and then this here, if this starts getting tagged out, all these shorts getting in, like you just said, Chris, it's like up to there. Oh, everyone gets licked, back up, higher low. This area gets swept, and then it just continues. But right now, there's nothing. There's no evidence right now to say it's going to nuke. I would say you're long until proven otherwise. The same as with Bitcoin. But I would like to see Solana, and my buy entries are going to be on support, like we've already mentioned before. Let me make my charts nice for once. What are we doing? Okay, here. So the really nice area to buy. If you get a golden 618 retracement, beautiful area to buy. So this is kind of my area in here. Anything down like into there, I'm like, I'll snap that up for high low. It's probably going to be juicy, and
that's the nice stuff is it's the flushes to the downside that are then bought back. Like that's for me. I have a hard time sometimes. Like I don't smash buttons when the nuke is happening. Like when shit's dumping, I'm just like hands off until we actually create higher lows. But my favorite thing is like, and Will's the same boat. It's like anything that does what we call an under over or an over under. So if it's dumping, it goes under the level you want it to hold, grabs that liquidity, and then goes back over that level. So you're essentially grabbing.
Are you saying something like this? It's like, and then back in, and then like that. So it just kind of
because now it's like there's no incentive to go down. There's no fuel to continue the drive down, and the buyback has established new demand.
Best times to get in for sure. 100% agree. That's the whole like where I've made most of my money is just waiting for pullbacks, buying them on support, higher low, and then continue. It's just going with the trend and buying that dip. And guess what?
Trend
we just had
friend,
that we just had that like 5 times. Like guess what? Think about it. Like every single time this nuked, everyone was like, "Oh my god, it's over." Do you remember? Look at Twitter, bro. And like it's not just Twitter; it's the long to short ratio. Every time when this nuked, "Oh my god, it's over. We're done." When this nuked, guess what? Oh my god, it's overdone. This one was actually one of the most. Everyone was really calling for it to be over, and we were just calmly saying, "No, It's long until proven otherwise. You haven't broken any structure. You buy it, you long. I got some really nice longs from down here. And it's exactly the same thing now. We are actually getting a little bit of rejection, like we said before. I do think it could come a little bit lower, maybe even sweep this. That will get everyone super bearish on this line they're looking at. Because a lot of people are looking at this uptrending line, and they're taking it as this gospel uptrend, which is like, oh my God, if it touches it, I have to buy it. No. It's just a general barometer of just saying, like, it's generally rising. And you don't want to put too much weight on trend lines which are up or down, okay? They are good, but not too much weight. Not as much weight as we well know of horizontal, because price is like a skyscraper. It's like doof, 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 doof. It's like up and down. It's not like diagonal. What are we talking about? And this is a really nice level. If it does that, I'll definitely be looking for buys. If it comes back up, sees this as resistance, I think it's probably over. And then this is the last level in the sand for me. 35,000.
That's distribution. That is perfect textbook distribution. If we create new lows, we close, we come back up, fail to achieve previous levels.
I'll get above that.
Now, yeah, I mean that's just textbook distribution. And then it's like, all right, all she wrote. Let's write it down.
Yeah, of course. And then we'll go to 32, and then that'll be the next buy. Because guess what? It'll just be what Solana's doing now. Back down, 32 buy. That's why I'm really, really getting to the bull town. Because even if we do get a super nuke down, it's just very unlikely at this point, on the long term, medium term, let's call this. It's just unlikely that Bitcoin's going to continue a downtrend from here. It's just got to go so far to make a new low, to then come up and then make a lower high. And then, it can happen, but it's just not that probable to just continue the downtrend. Bear market rally, this thing, the whole bear market rally, new low, and then continue that. It's just unlikely. And I think that's why we're talking about like the long term, medium term, because I do think this is going to be a pretty juicy year. And that's why I think for the beginning of this video, I just think this bull market, with the activity we've had since the FTX dump and what's happened to the market in terms of the potential on-ramping of institutions like BlackRock, like State Street, Fidelity, Vanguard, I do think this could be one of those markets where you're like, oh shit, this is the hyper cycle. But yeah, like I said, guys, with this tweet, don't get me wrong, I don't think this is happening tomorrow. I just was making a joke about all these people who are like, let's just short, like imagine like being a trader, Chris, and you're looking at this chart, and you've had it fascinates me, the psychology behind it, because you've had all of this time to short and sell your Bitcoin, all this time, to get short, it's insane. And then we get this level, the most important, crucial level,
entire year.
We break above it, and then you say, I'm going to short now. Guys, these guys are they're all chatting shit. They're like, it went up quickly, now I must go the other way. They're not looking at any context. They're not looking at the higher low. They're not looking at the confirmed higher low from the bear market rally. They're not looking at the volume
coming in above 30K. Get the hell out of here.
It's unbelievable. And a lot of these people, the Gareths of this community, they're saying they're master traders. They're saying they're master traders and they're gurus. And they told everyone to short here. And we're literally looking at, I don't know where he's at now, but we're looking at a 12% increase. So he must be stopped out if he's doing any good, rigid risk management. Because you're not going to get away with 10% loss from there.
That's everything down to 10x shorts are
just gone, yeah. And he's going to probably be. He's just So there was nothing there. We called it from the beginning. It's very likely to get a continuation at some point. And then I think, considering we've broken out a long-term resistance with all the volume signatures and the higher lows coming into it, this is the bear market rally, right? We got the bear market rally because we came down, got a high low twice, and then now we're the beginning of a bull market. But I do think we're going to get between 42 and I think it's just going to be anyway, it's either whoosh, and then we come back in, and then it's like that, and then we try again, and then we fanny around and we continue, or it's higher, and then maybe even we really get something disgusting. I don't know how far it will go, but I think it could be something pretty fun. It will definitely be a roller coaster.
Liquidity. The majority of the market liquidity is below 30K. All the major long stuff. I mean, you had the entirety of August through October to get long under 30K, and that's been untouched. And
it's insane
by and large. Yeah.
Chris, I don't want to cut you off, but we have 1 minute left, and I want to keep it below 1 hour. It's been incredible. Ooh. Yeah, I want to keep it 59 minutes, so it looks good. And guys, thanks for joining us. Hit the like button when you leave. Chris, great analysis, brother. Check out our indicators. We have our new one-on-one mentoring program I'm about to do a tweet about it. So we have a brand new one-on-one mentoring program we're about to launch, and we're going to have a nice little thing you can fill out, a form, and you can actually send us your quota, or not your quota, your guide of what you want, and then we can match you up with some one-on-one mentors for a discount because we're doing the Cyber Monday. Guys, I love you. You're all legends. Chris, see you later, mate.
Have a great friggin' Monday.
See you later, guys. Bye-bye.
Take it easy, guys.